Transformation feature can upgrade Java 8 or 11 applications.
tamales. The idea of the fruit cart came from seeing street vendors and fruit vendors from my community. I go to Walmart.
No one does fun like Carnival.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Super late. In the last 3 days for me, I've been doing a lot of work on my brother's B20VTEC. Now, I mentioned this before. I didn't want to do a lot of repetitive showing you guys all the little things. So I just went to work and I wanted to do like an ASMR style, just still show you guys that I'm doing something here in the garage, but not like fully explaining everything I'm doing here in the garage. Although I'm probably going to run you guys through everything we did in today's video, but I'm stoked that the motor's back into the car and it is up and going again. You guys heard it. It sounds really good. So let me take you guys outside real quick and kind of explain some of the things that I did here in today's video, in case you guys are like new, or you guys are like, you know, barely doing your first setup, or may not understand something that I did. So in the previous video, I yanked the engine out of the car because it was so dirty and I wanted to clean it front to back, in and out, top to bottom, along with transmission issues. I figured I'd just pull the whole thing out just to, you know, do all of it over there comfortably instead of trying to, like, you know, reach around the engine while it's still in the car. So engine came out, pressure washed it entirely, got all the silver to come back out looking fresh, and we changed out pretty much every seal that we could aside from the head gasket, because after I cleaned it, obviously it wasn't in the car, I didn't know where the leak was coming from. I figured I'd just change everything out just to eliminate every seal that could potentially be leaking. So starting from the cylinder head, from the top to the bottom, we changed valve cover gasket with the tube seals. And then you guys probably saw I time started this spark plug hole, because this has been stripped for so many years. So every time my brother did the spark plugs, he would only do the 3, because this one literally pulled threads. So when I got the kit finally on hand, I pulled this one out and literally the threads was stuck on the spark plug, and when you put the new one in, it just dropped straight through. So we time centered it and then we aired it out through the port right here on the exhaust, and we were able to put a brand new spark plug in it. So all new spark plug as well. Distributor has new O-ring. VTEC solenoid was resealed since I didn't have a gas gasket for it. We did the camshaft end seal. This is triple O-ring, so hopefully that doesn't leak. We did new cam gear seals, which is the 2 that's right here in the back, and we didn't use RTV in the necessary areas to ensure there's no seepage of oil. And on this end we did do timing belt, water pump, and tensioner, even though all of the seals, everything that I'm explaining to you guys now has been changed before, but you know, over 10 years ago. So my brother was like, you know what, just change it all out so we can go another 10 years, right? Timing belt, water pump, tensioner has been changed. Oil pump front seals changed. Rear main seal has been changed out. That is actually sitting behind the flywheel. We reused the light and flywheel, and we actually changed the clutch as well too. You guys probably saw that. The clutch that was in it before was still brand new, but the diaphragm was moving around too much for my liking. So shout out to the homie Eric. We put a new competition stage 1 replacement clutch in it, and that came along with the bearing for the flywheel, the release bearing, and we ended up taking out his transmission because I did open it up last night. His transmission has first gear, second gear, third gear gone. Fourth and fifth was on his way out. Sinkers were all dogged out. So instead of having my brother deal with like pop out issues, I figured while everything was out, I left his transmission there, resealed it, save it for a later time when I decide if I want to build it or use it for parts. I went to the storage unit, grabbed my S1 trans, worked out a deal, and threw that in the car for him. I know this transmission works well because it came out of that CRX and I drove it. It was perfect. Took it out, H2B, all-wheel drive, turbo. So this transmission was a spare backup, but I figured he can use it since, you know, I do have a bunch of other GSR trans I can use. Intake manifold gasket has been swapped out as well too. You guys probably heard when I turned it on, it had a super high idle, and that was because the bolts that I used back here were too short and it didn't really like compress the intake manifold. So I swapped the 2 out and tightened it down. Idle kind of dropped back down to 900 where it's supposed to be once it's warmed up. So that's all good and dandy. Few miscellaneous things I did. I took out the aftermarket piggyback fuel pressure regulator for an OEM unit. Less sore eye. Took out the stock header for a DC Sport Carb Legal just so it can breathe a little bit better. Now the header is linked to the cat, except the bolt flanges are a little off, so it's not actually bolted down right now, but it's compressed enough that obviously you guys heard it nice and quiet, right? So that means I'm gonna have to address the exhaust system later just so we can have this engine breathe a little bit more, since it is a 2.0 liter B20VTEC. Now you guys are probably wondering, why does it have a stock intake box arm and all this extra OEM fanciness? My brother wanted to keep it OE, so it's got a DA arm on a stock Civic air box, and obviously this pipe is all connected. The box behind the bumper is still there, but it doesn't congest the engine, surprisingly. It works really well, but if need to be, I do have his original AM intake that's carbed that he bought for his CRX over 25 years ago. It's still in the cabinet in the back over there, since my cars are mostly turbo cars, so I don't really need it, but it's one of those sentimental value items. Aside from that, you guys heard the engine turned over. It sounds freaking good. Coolant has been bled and the heater blows hot. This thing does have AC. You guys probably saw I installed it, and it blows nice and cold. This thing's working like it should, and you know, swap is all put back together. Sounds freaking awesome. And now we're going to move on to the next phase tomorrow for me, next video for you guys. I didn't put any of the suspension stuff back together, so you can see the cross member is not there. The spindle itself is not connected to the lower control arm, and when I took this thing apart the first time, I noticed a lot of like blown out bushings. So I'm going to show you guys just a little bit of what we're going to be doing next. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but these are the lower control arms, front and rear, that came off my sedan, since I did go PCI spherical everything. So this is brand new. We're going to be using this on the car, press these bushing out, put new bushings for this. So we're going to be tackling that tomorrow. And then over here we have almost everything. No, I wouldn't say almost. I think we have everything for the suspension overhaul. This is the stuff for my wagon, all the fuel stuff. This right here is the block spherical trailing arm bushings. These are the rear toe arms, since his are pretty shot, especially because it's lifted. These are the bushings for the rear LCAs we're going to press in. We have sway bar bushing, shout out to the homie Bernie. And then we have this is the bushings for my brother's supercharged wagon, the Hasport motor mount. Since it is a little soft, he wants it a little stiffer, so I got that. And then inside the house we have a max PD rod traction bar we're going to be throwing on this car as well too. So that's what's expected for the next video, guys. And as far as this video goes, I'm gonna cap it here. I don't want to run it on too long. I hope you guys enjoy the progress update on my brother's blue wagon. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for the suspension overhaul, or even the stuff after the fact, when the suspension overhaul is done, wagon goes off the driveway, the brown one comes up, got to fix a few things, and we're going to be changing some massive changes to my brother's supercharged wagon. Probably not going to be called a supercharged wagon anymore after that. But if you guys want to stick around and see all that fanciness, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.